Hi guys, welcome to another great card trick. This one in particular is special. It's a vintage card trick from the turn of the 19th century, and it was by a magician called Benjamin Lewis. Before we carry on, if it's your first time here at the channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button because we do upload 2 or more videos every single week. So who was Benjamin Lewis? He was born blind, and that's what made it special, because everything he did, he couldn't see. He was a coin manipulator, but he did confess to doing one single card trick throughout his life, and this is it. He would ask someone to help him and to grab the cards and to shuffle them. He would ask them to deal out 5 cards. Now if you're performing this, you may want to do this blindfolded because you don't need to see anything. Once the cards are dealt, you ask a spectator to pick up each packet in turn and look at the cards, and when they do that is to think of any one of the cards that they see. It's an absolute free choice. Once they've done that, he'll ask them to put their hand on top of the pile that contains their card. Benjamin would move his hand across and feel yours. He then gathers the cards up and spreads one packet. I want you to deal in a random order the cards you hold anywhere onto these cards. They proceed to deal them in a random fashion on here to mix the cards up once again. I'm going to number these from left to right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'd like you to pick up each packet in turn and look for your card. Now, although Benjamin couldn't see anything, he could hear very well. So he would say, to prove that I'm not listening to which packet you pick up, if your card is in the second pile, carry on looking at the others. Otherwise, I may be accused of knowing that you only went to the second pile. So the spectator will then go through looking at each packet in turn. You ask them, which number pile? They would say 4. You then ask for another 2 piles, 1 and 2. The other cards are discarded. He picks up the cards and says, how would you like me to stack these cards together? Do you want me to put these on top or bottom? And if they say bottom, he then takes the second packet and says, do you want it at the bottom or the top? Top. Now he begins to deal out the cards into 2 packets. He places his hands over the top and he asks the spectator, touch the back of either hand. They touch the back of a hand. He eliminates the cards. Once again, he separates the cards into 2 packets. He picks them up. He asks for left or right. He's left with 3 cards. He begins to deal the cards one at a time. He asks the spectator to call stop. Again, he eliminates the cards. What was the card with a special meaning to you? They say the Ace of Spades, and there is the chosen card. The Benjamin Lewis trick uses no stacking, no special cards. This is an impromptu card trick you can perform anywhere at any time. The great thing is, majority of it happens in the hands of the spectator, and you might build it up to even more dramatic effect if you do blindfold yourself, if you so wish. But this is how it goes. You do shuffle the cards and you repeat exactly what I did in the performance. The spectator shuffles the cards. They deal down the 5 cards and they deal 4 of these. The rest of the cards are not required. So here you've got the 4 packets. You get them to pick up these and remember a card. Now for this example, let's say they pick the Ace of Diamonds. There it is there. They go through, look at all of these. They then say which packet it's in. You've got to know which packet it's in. In the performance, they put their hand on it and you touch it. Being a blind man or woman, you touch that. Now all that's got to happen is you're just going to collect 3 of these and leave one behind. Doesn't matter which one. If this is the packet that contains their card, you make sure that goes in between the other 2 packets. So you can casually, don't make a big thing of this, just collect up the cards, drop them on there and drop them on there. Their packet is now sandwiched between these 2. That's all you've got to do. You spread these out to give you 5 positions. Now you can deal these if you don't trust the spectators to do it, or they can deal it. You say deal a card onto each one of these, and it really is a random choice. You tell them to deal another round of cards in any order. Now they really believe they're mixing up the cards again. And finally, the last set. Now you can number these if you want, as we did in the performance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but it doesn't have to be. You ask them to look through every single packet and don't give any indication when they find their card. So they're going to go through. Now we're looking for the Ace of Diamonds because that's our card. So as we go through, there is the Ace of Diamonds. Now their card will always be the second from the top. Always. Once they've looked, they're going to indicate that this is the packet it's in, but you need another 2, so they can choose another 2 packets as well. The 2 they don't choose, you can get rid of those. Now we know that this is the packet that contains their card. The final bit is where they choose whether to put either of these packets on top or bottom. Now you're going to do a numbering 1, 2 and 3. Let me demonstrate. This is their packet. If they put this on top and this one on top, you will want to remember the number 3 because you've got 1, 2 and their packet is the 3rd one from the top. What if they put 1 on top and 1 on the bottom? Well, the packet that contains theirs is in position 2. It's between these 1, 2 and 3. If they say to put both packets on the bottom, this is now 1. Now let me just demonstrate why you have to remember that number. Remember, it will either be 1, 2 and 3. So in this case, I've put both packets underneath their choice. That tells me number 1. Now their card is always going to be in an even position. So the last 2 parts where you deal out these cards. This pile here, all the odd cards, we don't need those. So use Magician's Choice to do that. Put your hands over, ask them to touch one. If they touch this one, you keep those and eliminate those. If they touch this, you push those aside. We get rid of those. You then deal the cards in the same fashion. This packet here, the first packet you dealt to, they're all odd, so you get rid of those. Again, Magician's Choice. The 3 cards you have remaining, even without looking, because at this point, even you don't know what card they chose. Remember the number 1 I chose? That tells me that their card is the top one, number 1. If you were keeping that number 2 or 3 in your head, then 2 and 3. That's why when you put those packets together in the previous part of the routine, you have to remember, is it position 1, 2 or 3? It's 1. I know that this is their chosen card. There it is. Now you can either do a Magician's Choice here, get them to grab a card, or some other way of revealing the card. I like to just take the card. I know that's their card, so I keep an eye on that. I put that to the bottom, then take the next one and say, I want you to call stop as I'm dealing. Now I time it, so normally they will say stop about here. That'll be great because that's their card, so you can eliminate these. However, if I put that underneath and deal with the next one, they say stop. I don't even look at it, I just throw it away. You carry on with the last two. If they say stop on this one, I know that's their card, so I get rid of this. Magician's choice again. Get rid of that until you're left with their card. It's a great revelation because you never look at the cards, they shuffle the cards, and it's a great impromptu trick.